Marco Jacobs Media.
If you could raise your hand before you start shouting a question, that would be helpful. Thanks.
Thank you.
There we go. Perfect.
Thanks, sir.
Almost on the leaf. Yeah, I want to start. John, obviously, the way you lost it, I mean, you've been saying a long time that, you know, a defeat might come. But the way you guys lost it, the number of 22 entries, I mean, I think there were 10, if the stats are correct. I mean, 4 lineouts that you lost, 15 turnovers, 15 penalties. That's not a Stormers performance, is it?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I thought it was exactly what we talked about afterwards. Both sides of the line out. You know, remember the penalties we conceded, penalty try conceded on the Morley. Yeah, you go up, you throw somebody across, you do the same thing the next line out. Of course, you're going to have a warning. So, yeah, on the entries. So I think that and the discipline. I think. Oh yeah, I don't mind. Just foul play penalties are frustrating, you know, tackling guys in the air or whatever else we did, you know. So I agree, that's exactly right.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you've got the advantage that you travel to Durban next week and you get a chance to put it right.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. That's a silver lining, I suppose, of a dark cloud. I think there's an element. Sash talked about it after the game. There's an element that bogey's off our back, but and I think what is nice is it didn't feel like we were. I don't want to say we beat ourselves because I thought the Sharks are very good. Their plans were good. They were organised. They played with passion. You could see how they defended. They had some really good plans. But you know, had we addressed those things that you started this question with, I think the score would have been could have been in our favour. So we won't do what happened. You know, if you looked at the URC stats before this round, number 1 lineup, number 1 maul, number 1 scrum. And all today didn't get that picture up, so but we'll be back next week.
Lisa?
Thanks. Tabo, just on the scrums, I asked you the question about the ox passing thing. Did you feel that worked in their favour, that they could take him off after 30 minutes after dealing quite well with what
I thought he did well. I thought he did well. Yeah, and obviously by the end we were clearly dominant. It was probably that middle bit that I probably need to relook at because there's one which cost us 3 points where we were starting to celebrate our penalty and I went against. But I think that plan of theirs worked well. But I think credit to us I think by the end we were pretty clearly in charge of the scrums. But they mitigated and they won the scrum penalty battle. So I'm sure they did, yeah.
And then. Jan spoke about that return derby now. This result probably means that you don't have to really motivate the guys.
No, I don't think we were like. I don't, but as I said after, it was a curious game, and often when we lose games, when we lose, you think, we didn't work hard enough or that. I didn't fault the effort or the work rate or the desire to win. And in fact, at some stages, until those lineups that Jan refers to, I was going about sort of typical performances of this year, 65 minutes, they start getting the dominance. And the truth is, we have those lineouts, you're right, one couple down here, and then probably the match turning one on 68 or 69 minutes, where we were 5 yards out, 22-12, we score there. It ends up in a yellow card and a penalty, so that was the beat. It felt like then it was almost going to be like one of those performances, didn't it? Yeah. But,
Dabo, you said yesterday at the press conference, you said that you feel under more pressure to entertain when you're in Cape Town. And you're going away from Cape Town next week, you're going to Durban. I mean, do you think you might actually be better off for getting the hell out of this town and going and sort of playing somewhere where you sort of like rediscover that pragmatic sort of approach you had when you were overseas?
I didn't think we played to entertain today. I didn't, we've had other conversations about it, like the Lions game here. I didn't have that impression once today. In fact, we didn't have much. I thought we played, it was just those elements, the discipline on both sides of the line out. I'll tell you what feels horrible. There's the people of Cape Town come out and we produced comfortably our worst performance this season. It wasn't even a thriller at the end. So that going on here, from that point of view, it feels terrible. But we've got a plan for next week, which we'd already made before this week's result, and we'll be better. Sorry to give you
JP.
Dobbo, just to start on a lighter note, how's your recovery after falling at the warm-up?
Yeah, shit. No. I'll be fit for next week.
Just to find out the pipeline of the Stormers, if you're looking at the Evan Itzebets, the Siakulisi, like that pipeline, that institutions and stuff that you guys had, do you think going back to that now, it's going to benefit you guys massively going forward? Because if you look at the Sias, the Scaras, the Ebens, where they are today, just that legacy that you guys built, and not just because you were under a lot of pressure of guys after school, maybe going to other unions, but now suddenly there's a bit of a youth, and maybe just on that from your side?
Yeah, I think one of the great tragedies of the many of the sort of dark period at the back end of the last decade and the start of this one was the institute being viewed as a cost centre and then being cut and just logically pay a price for it. So there's a sort of missing few years. We had to go into the market to sort of build this team that largely built that won the URC. But since his under 21 team, and we kept them together with guys like Connor and Emmy and Paul, and that started to produce. And now if we open our own institute, we had Marcus Muller training with us. I know he's a big name, he's a proper player. So that's our whole thing, is that we get sustainable, keep winning, and I think we've hopefully addressed the missing generation, and hopefully we'll get better at other unions coming and looking at our grade 10s. That's often we miss. I understand the Crane Week thing, that's a battle, and I think we're on top of that, and that's obvious one, if you know what I mean. But it's when Chiswell Just or who else left in grade 10, I think something at the top of my head. But that's where we have to be much sharper,
Just last one to Sasha. You didn't always have it smooth sailing. You had a lot of injuries, and then you recovered. Maybe today wasn't the best day at the office. But there's a youngster sitting out there, obviously looking up to you while you're doing things, how you're doing it, reading the Stormers. What is a message to somebody out there when it doesn't always go your way? Because next week the team might be great, you might be great, you might be on the next level. What is the message to somebody maybe struggling, not going through a great space, but to recover the next week?
That's a tough question on the spot. Just keep on. I've had many operations, and I'm 45 caps for the Stormers. Some of my mates on 70s and whatever. So just stay true to yourself. Listen to the internal noise, not the external noise.
Thanks.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, question, Dobbo, to you, and then one to Sasha. If you look at the trends post the opening 20 against La Rochelle, it's like this kind of result was coming in terms of performance, and that's almost complete performance or the pragmatic kind of rugby we saw the early part of your overseas things. Because you look at the starts, and there must be something in that one corner because every start gets dropped. Okay. What is it about the preparation that you're going to have to look at and say, why are we gifting the team 7 points, putting ourselves under pressure 5 minutes into a game? And then to follow that, Sasha, from the stands, it looked like you guys just couldn't get into that game. How did it feel on the field? That there was never a moment when you felt this momentum is shifting, that something just wasn't clicking. That was the observation. You would want to play. So Dominic can answer that. You know.
Yeah, I think from you spot on. I genuinely don't feel that today was because we were romantic or trying to entertain the crowd. I think it was as simple as those, our line-up maul and that sort of thing here. If we got 4 of the 5 of those and we got our maul going, we've won that game. So what I'm saying, I do agree with what you're saying since La Rochelle. There has been, since that first 20, I agree with that part, and I agree with that about the restarts. I think what disappointed me the most about that start was the 2 starters. One was a line-up, one was a scrum on the far side. They get 40 yards both times, and that was far too easy. So to me, that was put both led to the tries. Yes, I don't feel like we used the cliche overplayed today. I didn't see that. But I would agree with you that this has probably been coming for a little since we got home to a degree.
Yeah, I think firstly, like the one place we can tap ourselves on the back is we got the entries. So that's one box tick. But I think the difference today was like when you gain momentum and get entries, usually if you smash and grab a couple of points from there or put the team under pressure via penalties or cards, then the energy is re-injected back into you. But today it was like, I remember we had a line out and they turned it over, Andre moved the ball and Fassi banged it into our 22. And we had to run back to go resource that. I think it was a 50-22 even or something like that. So it's just like those moments today. It wasn't a thing of losing a ball in the 22 or failing on an entry. It was like failing on an entry and being put right back in our half. And I think that's very dejecting from an energetic point of view. And it was just an unfortunate day like that. Just, I don't want to say we didn't have the rub of the green, but just Zas has that break down the line and he just gets caught. And it was always just. And it's not an excuse, it's just the way the game went. And I just felt like, for whatever reason, I think we were so mentally prepped and our game plan was, we knew what we wanted to do this game. I just think that, the Sharks got the better of some situations and instead of just getting a bit of a 1-up on us, they got like a 5-up on us and we ended up, burning ourselves.
Stephen?
Yeah, just Sasha, to some extent you did answer my question, but JP Peterson also said here that you guys would probably be kicking yourselves in a way because it's a matter of he just thought the one team used its chances and the others didn't. And in that sense, are you confident that this is a fairly sort of simple fix? And then Dobbo, just you mentioned I think last week that Ruan and Ore might be right. So what is the situation now in terms of the availability for Durban?
Ruan. The problem with Ruan is that we got a 4-week gap after it's a calf injury. So do you throw him into that and then risk? You know what I mean? I'm not sure, but he should be theoretically he could play. Adre should definitely be back. I think Saman may have hurt himself today. His 2 minutes, his 2-minute cameo, which is a pity, but they should be back. Yeah. And Evan obviously will be back.
Yeah, I don't think it's saying it's a simple fix. I feel like it kind of discredits the Sharks, and I think they do deserve to have some credit today because, you don't just mess up entries like that with no pressure on lineouts or at the breakdown. So kudos to them this week, but I think the simple fix for us or the way we can bounce back is just we're not happy right now, and the times we've lost, the way we put that output back into trying to correct results and stuff. I think we're going to get some good answers this week. I don't think there's many answers because, like I said, we went from a 22 entry in their half to 22 entry in our half, so it wasn't a great day. But I think I think we'll be fine.
Marco?
Just a double on Salman. It was quite a weird sequence of events there. Was he fully fit coming into the game?
Yeah. It's completely unrelated.
Yeah.
It's not a turf toe, but it's an injury to his toe. So it was done in the mall before he got the card. Okay. So he came on as the team that issued the more warnings. So I felt a bit sorry for him, but he hurt it. There were two malls on for the second one. He was carded. The first was unrelated. Yeah.
So you don't know the assessment for him?
No, not yet. But he doesn't seem comfortable.
Cool, guys. All good. Thank you.